Alright, what's up guys? Your boy is back. So now we are going to be putting on the electronics, at least part of the electronics. We're going to be putting in the battery holder. This is where your 18650 batteries are going to slot in, and also your buck converters. So right now, let's put the battery holder on. What you're going to do, you have a positive and a negative wire. Your negative wire is going to run through the inside. Sorry. So you're going to push the black wire through. There's like a little hole. You're going to push the black wire through, and you're going to put it through this middle hole right here. And you're going to make sure that's nice and tight. So now you can put this on to your SpiderBot, and your black wire should freely run through the top, while your red wire is through the front. You're going to see what to do with that. And we can hot glue this in now. Hot glue the hot glue onto your SpiderBot chassis.
I wish, bro. Dude, it was way too expensive. Yeah, that was.
You should not need too much. Make sure that the black wire goes through. Plop that in. And press as hard as you can.
If you want me to try.
And wait for it to dry. And actually, I want to make a correction. You're not going to run the black wire through here. There's a little slot on the bottom right there. You're going to run the black wire through that slot. Pull it as hard as you can, not too hard. And now your black wire should run freely on top of the SpiderBot chassis. So once that is dried, now you can put your buck converters onto your SpiderBot chassis. So this is going to be your buck converter. There's two ins. This is where your batteries are going to connect to, and two outs. This is where it's going to give voltage to the rest of the SpiderBot. You are given two buck converters since you have 12 total motors, and only one buck converter cannot handle that many motors. So that's why you are given two. So you're gonna put your buck converter on here. You can put your orientation either way. Although right now I'm gonna put it in this orientation with the in pointing this side and the out pointing this side. So I'm just going to hot glue that on. So once that is secured, now you are going to get your soldering iron. Now this is where it can get pretty dangerous. I don't want you guys to get hurt. Yeah, your soldering iron, you're going to attach it to a wall or outlet. You're going to set your settings up to 350 degrees. This is a good spot to be in for soldering. You're going to get your solder. It's going to be in a big old spool in the makerspace cabinet, or however what form it comes in. And right now you're going to prime your buck converter. What I'm basically doing is I am priming this pad so that when I put my wire on, it is perfectly secure and strong. It's a strong connection. So I will put some solder onto my soldering iron, and then I'm gonna put some solder, like get the soldering wire on the circuit, on the and try to only touch this silver part right here. You do not want to touch anything else. I'm just gonna do that, and you're gonna get a nice bubble. You want to get a nice bubble. If you do it wrong, you're not gonna get a nice bubble. Another trick you can do is you press and hold, and you're going to see it puff up, and you take it off, and you're going to get a nice rounded solder. connection. So now that you got that, you can do it for every single connection here. Solder onto your converter or thingamajiggy, your solder iron. Put it on here. Put some more if you need to. Nice bubble. And right now I'm breathing in the solder. Do not do that. We have some fume extractors in the makerspace, so use that if you don't want to get cancer. But or get brain damage. I mean, yeah. So just get some stuff right there. Nice plop.
The one I normally have is like an Oculus. The Oculus.
Nice plop.
Why would you need
I don't know how to Oculus.
Or do you just like set 8
Because usually you also have 95.
Don't put too much solder, but it is worse to put less solder. You want to put a good amount of solder. And now you're going to see a nice connections, nice rounded connections. It's going to look real professional, guys, real professional. So now you can do that for the other buck converter too. I recommend doing it before you attach the buck converter on. So I'm just going to speed run this. All right. Here you go. Nice connections. I messed up a little tiny bit, but it should be fine. So save this for later. Right now, we are going to connect the battery holder to the buck converter. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to tell you right now. We're going to have a switch, and this switch is going to, control whether voltage positive is going to be running through the circuit or not. But at all times, the ground will be connected. You'll see it once it's done. So we're going to cut this wire really carefully, and we're going to attach it right onto the buck converter right here. All right, so you're going to get your spool of wire. You're going to have the tip. You're going to get some, you can get wire strippers, but low key, I'm gamer, so I don't do that. I just put some amount of force on it, a small amount of force, and I pull it off. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to have to tin that. I'll show you how to do that later. But right now, we're actually going to work on this. So you want to measure how long it's going to be. And then you want to give some more space. So I'm going to probably go up to here. And then I'm going to strip this like I showed. Takes a few tries.
Are you guys running 4 motor for battery? Alright.
There you go. You're going to see a nice little small piece of metal. These are your strands of metal. You're going to get your fingers and you're going to twist them. And now you want to tin them. Basically, tinning is that you put solder onto the wire that you just cut, so it connects better. So you're going to get your soldering iron, you're going to lay the wire on it, you want it to heat up, and you're going to put a little tiny bit amount of solder. Tiny amount of solder. And now it is tinned. Now it looks pretty epic. Now you're just going to plop that onto your in negative. Make sure that you're putting it into the label in negative. If you don't do it, it won't be right. So make sure you do that. Make sure you're safe. This soldering iron is really hot. Don't want to get yourself damaged. I'm just going to do this.
Well, also,
If you need help, have a person hold the wire for you. You need to have pretty stable hands. Once you get more practice, you get to more stable, but I know people are like shaking when they do this. If you're shaking, be careful. You need to get some more practice or whatever, some more wrist muscles or something. So you're going to press it on, you're going to press and hold a bit, and you take it out. You should get a nice rounded, okay, that's a little artifact. But for the most part, you should get a nice soldered connection. It's a little weird looking, but it works. It works. So that is going to be your negative. And you're actually going to connect your other buck converter to that same port right here. You're going to string it, but I'll show you how to do that later. Right now, we're going to connect the DC switch to the actual SpiderBot. So now we have the positive end of the battery holder right here. So we are going to be putting the DC switch somewhere, probably right here. This is a good spot. We're going to be putting the DC switch right here. So there's going to be two ends. You put your input in one end, and where you want your output will be in the other end. So in this case, we'll be putting the input in one end, which is the battery holder, and the output will be going to the buck converters, one for each buck converter. That allows the voltage to be isolated and make sure it doesn't fry them when you power it on. You'll be seeing when we get to later steps. So obviously this is way too long, so we're going to be cutting it. I plan to put it here, so I'm going to give it some space to breathe, probably this much. And again, this takes practice. You might not get it first try, you might get it first try. It takes practice. Take that off. Twist it so all the little strands are nice and bundled together. Now you want to, where's the solder? Now you want to tin the wire.
Oh, because I thought that we just take the switches thing and then the switches.
You want to put the wire onto the soldering iron.
I don't need to switch it as a ground.
So it heats it up, and then you just put a little tiny bit.
Because the switch doesn't need to control the ground.
So literally there's gonna be three connections in our power then, like two for that.
So power switch. You do two. Wait.
So once you do that, now you want to get your DC switch. Make sure it's in the off position. In case you have batteries in, just make sure it's in the off position regardless. Now you want to plop your battery holder onto here. So what you can do is actually a pro gamer move. You can actually wait. Let me show you the actual way to do it. I was being lazy for a sec. So what you have to do is you're gonna solder. Kind of like how we put solder onto the buck converters so that we prime it. You're going to do the same to here. I have some solder on my tip. Okay, that sounds weird. You're gonna put right here. Solder on the iron. You're gonna plop it on. Press and hold a bit so it gets on. Just finesse that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Beautiful.
Are you saying? I think he's saying to put this in the
Yeah, so we're gonna type ESC here.
You don't want to make sure you want to make sure you touch the circuit and whatever parts you're soldering as least as possible, because this is really hot and it transfers energy really fast. So like I melted the plastic, but it's fine. It still works.
So they're both the same thing. But so you can't connect one of these two.
So you're gonna get your positive end, and you are gonna finesse this. You're gonna put your switch right here, and you're gonna put your end right there. Let me rotate this so you guys can see. Get the wires out of the way. You don't want to damage them. And then you're just gonna solder like you did on the buck converter. Be very careful, and you want to be fast with it. You don't want to transfer energy too much. Boom. done.
Honestly, yeah. It's so funny though.
So now that is going to be your DC switch with the positive end inside. But now we are going to be having to put 2 wires coming out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and prime this right here with some solder.
Am I gonna do it now?
I'm going to be really fast with it.
Thank you for letting me know from here.
I'm actually going to get cancer.
Fuck, I'm gonna make
I'm actually going to die by 40 or something. Alright. Oh my god, it just plopped off. Okay, sorry, I put too much. It doesn't stick. There we go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put a fucking.
Alright, now that is soldered on. Now you want to get your red wire. You always want to color code. You never just want to choose random colors for your circuits. You want to make sure that red is always positive charge and black is always your ground, which is going to be your negative charge. And together that is going to make your voltage. So you're going to get your red spool. You're going to go to the tip. You're going to go like, you're going to finesse that. You got the end.
They wanted me to pay $450.
And now you want to
Anyways.
tin that. So I'm just gonna like, you can get helping hands too. They're inside the cabinet. Ask a Maker Space Manager for it. But low key, be balling. So we're just gonna tin that. Beautiful. And now I'm going to attach that to this buck converter right here. You want to be fast. You don't want to damage the circuit with the heat. The wire gets hot. It's going to feel like you're going to burn yourself. Suck it up and burn yourself because you need to hold the wire. Or you can just get helping hands. But low key. So you want to make sure that it will fit the length needed for your DC switch. So obviously it's not going to be that much length. So I'm going to cut maybe right here just to give some breathing room. Chip this off. Spin it a bit. Tin that thing.
Mostly just because it was in my box today.
There you go. I will not recommend to attach it now, as we still need to put the other buck converter on. Now, we're going to put the other buck converter on, actually. You're going to get your buck, double-decker buck. This is basically going to hold the buck converter at a height so that you can fit 2 buck converters onto this build. So you're just going to hot glue this right on. Pretty chill, pretty easy. You want to make sure the long end is going to the left because this is where your I/O expansion and your Arduino is going to go, so you need a lot of space for that. You want to make sure it's secure. And now you want to put your second buck converter on. Let's hot glue that. In is on this side. Flop that on.
There's a blue one that I think so.
And that should be your double-decker bus. Alright, so this is where it's going to get a little hard. You're going to have pretty steady hands for this. Or you can just do it after. I should have done it after. But we just balling with it. So you're going to get your black wire. You're going to solder that into there. Really steady hands. You might burn the servo. Try not to actually burn that thing right there. Why is this not tinned? Sorry, let me tin this real quick. Alright, beautifully tinned. Now you're gonna solder that onto this. Really carefully. You want to reach the solder into it. I'm a right-handed, I'm not left-handed. You're going to reach the solder into it, and you're going to press into it. Just a quick touch. Just to secure the piece. There you go. Alright, there you go. As you can tell, it's soldered on. It's not too pretty, but it is usable. I left a bit of a scar on the servo, but it's just superficial. Chicks dig scars, am I right? So now we're gonna put this end into the end right here. This is basically gonna unify the ground because the voltages can like fluctuate a lot, but the ground needs to be unified. Therefore, basically they're gonna be speaking the same language. That is some way to put it in. So you're just gonna cut this, give some space to breathe. Alright, so you want to tin that wire nice and nicely. See, the more solder I breathe in, the less I'm able to talk. Maybe I should stop breathing in solder. So now you're gonna put this on here. Just finesse that. It should be looped out on the in. Do not mess that up. Just do that.
The switch being on the sets. Hopefully she gets
It's a little hard. You can get some pliers. Since it's a bit of a curve and you don't want to put your finger too close to the soldering iron, unless you're going to burn yourself.
He's expecting a battery.
It's a you do one. You do one. I got the second one. That's why you do one first.
You need a regular? It might be the one that's expecting a battery. So the battery turner from now. Or soldering to turn the battery. Yeah.
There you go. So you got that connection in. You can just tuck that in. It's secure. Don't want to tug at it too much, but that is secure. Now you want to get a positive wire and run it through there. Right, and then you're going to make that connection real nice. Owie, it burns. It burns. Now you're gonna get your DC switch thingamajiggy, and you're gonna plug that thingamajiggy on the thingamajiggy. Get that cut. Get that cut. Twindle that little thing. Yeah, your solder. heat that up.
Okay.
Right now my hands are getting a little shaky because I'm getting a little tired, but you can always take breaks. So now you want to solder these two connections onto the end of your DC switch. I cut this so long. Wait, I am so sorry. Why is this so long? Jeez. Let me fix that. This is a learning experience. You'll learn shortcuts, you'll learn how to do it faster, you'll learn how to do it more efficiently. The more you solder, the more you will be a gamer. Am I right? So you're gonna do that. You're gonna solder that. Tin that. Flip. Oh, that's why. Oh, you're gonna flip this over. Now you're gonna put that in. I recommend hot gluing this on now, since you want it to be secure. Just hot glue it on. I put too much. Oopsie. Plop that in. You want to put it all the way on the left since you need to have space on that side right there. You want to make sure this lip also is like lipped onto it. That way it's pretty secure. Plop that in. Plop, plop, plop. You're gonna get this right here. You're gonna get these two wires. Now this is where finesse comes in. You're gonna solder these two wires at the same time, like the pro gamers that you guys are. I trust you guys. You can do one at a time, but we are not like that. Just gonna do that. What I like to do, I just like to attach it on. Now it's soldered on, and then I like to just drench it in solder. But you want to make sure it actually connects, not just like on top, or else that's not going to actually have a good connection. You want to be really careful as these wires can come off. You don't want to burn yourself either. If you can have a hand, how that burns. You can have a friend help you out, or you can be a gamer like me and solder that on. I just burned the wire. Yeah, there you go. That is going to be how you solder on your buck converters. Next video, I'm going to show you how to do the I/O expansion board, and yeah, you will continue to put wires in your buck converters, although you will be using different wires. One of them will be using the same wire, but other ones will be different actually. But as for the voltage regulation, this is your voltage regulation. Great job, guys. I hope you didn't burn yourself like me. See you guys.